With the season record now standing at 3-1-1 and undefeated for 4 straight games, Tech went into the Tiger Den at Auburn to play a team that was to become the Cinderella team of college football. The ball game started out like a Tech rub as the Yellow Jackets jumped off to a 14-0 lead. But for a field goal that hit the upright and a touchdown that was called back on a questionable clipping penalty, the Jackets appeared to have Auburn blown out of the stadium before a partisan sellout Auburn crowd.
The Tech defense was great in the first half. Steve Putnell and Bo Bruce stopped Randy Walls for no gain. Maxie Bond likes what he sees. Senior Tim Macy makes this stop. Steve Putnell, a Macon junior, throws Gasson for a 3-yard loss. Bo Bruce dropped Wall for a loss of 4. Macy bottles up Henley for no gain. And Gary Faulkner breaks up a Randy Walls pass on this play. Tech drives to within field goal range. But the ball, and you'll have a chance to watch it closely here, hits the near upright and bounces harmlessly away. You can actually see the upright vibrate. A tough break for the Jackets. And it leaves the first quarter scoreless. McShann hitting Robinson for 26 yards. And he's hit from 3 sides, but manages to hang on to the Tiger 23. McShann goes right back to Robinson. This play gets the Jackets down to the 4-yard line. McNamara gets the call. Oops, little double dribble, but a perfect bounce. Goes in for the score, and it's 7-0. Jubilation on the Tech sideline. Passing situation for Auburn. The ball is in the air, and Randy Rhino will intercept. Watch this fine running by the Charlotte sophomore. Picks his way. Returns it 43 yards to the Auburn 15. Healy takes it in for the score with a burst right up the middle, and it's 14-0. Terry Henley makes it 14-7 at the half with this short plunge. After a field goal made it 14-10, Auburn took the lead on this quarterback sneak by Walls, and it's 17-14 Auburn. The clincher as Walls flips to Gossin for the score, and the scoreboard tells the story at Auburn. 24-14.
It was a bitter defeat for the Yellow Jackets as they appeared to have the game in hand and let it slip away in the final 2 minutes. Coach Fulcher said, "We are disappointed, but we will come back." And come back they did, as did the fans at Grant Field the next week. It was homecoming. The opponent, the Green Wave of Tulane. It was an overcast day, but it didn't dampen the spirits of the spectators.
The Green Wave is airborne. The ball is tipped. And Randy Rhino, Johnny on the spot all season, picked off the Tulane pass and raced 40 yards for a Yellow Jacket TD. In this game, Bruce Southall began to emerge as a powerful runner. Hand off to Greg Horn. Finds daylight. Cuts toward the sideline. This was one of his top runs of the year, and it was good for 34 yards. The handoff to Southall, and here he shows how he likes to batter down people and run over people. Showing here that he was ready to be reckoned with for the rest of the 72 season. The game's biggest play was most exciting. McShann finds big Mike Oven. What a play and what a run. He's big, but he can move. And he outraces everybody to the end zone, and it's good for a 67-yard touchdown. Final score, Tech 21, Tulane 7.
For Tech, it was a big win, coming back after a disappointing loss the week before. Coach Fulcher said his team showed poise, pride, and character. A week later, it was a road trip to Durham and longtime rival Duke that had to rate as one of the biggest letdowns of the season for the Yellow Jackets. The Blue Devils, playing before their largest home crowd in some time, jumped off to a 20-0 lead near the end of the third period. Tech, meanwhile, couldn't get the offense moving. But finally, with the clock against them, Eddie Machan began to click.
Quarterback Machan, looking for his favorite receiver, Jimmy Robinson, finds him for this scoring toss. Mark Fields, an unsung performer most of the season, making a remarkable catch and a big 45-yard gainer. Greg Horn blasts in for Tech's second score of the day, but it fell short as the final score resulted in a Duke upset, 20-14.
Although it was a disappointing effort, 4 Tech records were either tied or broken in the game. Eddie Machan broke the single-season passing record at Tech. Randy Rhino set a new record for total punt return yards in this game. Sophomore Jim Robinson tied the all-time Tech touchdown passes caught record. And Bobby Thigpen tied the extra point record. So for Tech, it was another time to regroup. This time against an Eastern school, Boston College, at Grant Field. It was a convincing victory for Tech, and one that was badly needed. For Georgia Tech, the game unveiled Bruce Southall as a powerful and devastating runner, and it was also the first appearance for a substitute quarterback named Jim Stevens.
Captain Machan, he's back and he's looking. When he fires to Robinson, makes the catch. He wants that record, but doesn't get it on this play, even though the play was good for 41 yards. Touchdown plunge by Horn. Bobby Thigpen broke the all-time conversion record at Tech with this kick and set a record that will be hard to break for anyone who follows at the flats. Obviously, his teammates were happy about the record. The Eddie Machan aerial circus was in full view for the Easterners, and he hit Jim Owings for a TD on this exciting play. Jan back. Sets. And Mike Oven is the target, and it's another Jacket scoring play. The Tech defense was alert all year, and it comes through on this one as Bruce Elliott picks off a Boston College pass, and he runs it all the way in for a touchdown. Happiness is catching a pass and running it in for a linebacker, and here's an old linebacker who remembers. Tech fans get their first look at quarterback Jim Stevens. He's looking for Robinson, hoping to give the Mighty Mite a chance to set the record. But he can't find him or anyone else open. So coolly and calmly, holds on to the ball, runs to the sideline, and eventually all the way as he hits the flag for a Jacket touchdown. 42-10, Tech over Boston College.
Navy was the next opponent for the Yellow Jackets at Grant Field, and again, it was all Tech. The defense was very strong and came of age in this game.
Bobby Thigpen, a senior from Warrenton, Georgia, kicks his first career field goal on his first try to give Tech a 3-0 lead. Bruce Southall, a junior from Orlando, continued his devastating running, ramming Navy on one of the best individual efforts of the year. Southall's run and Tech's offense didn't please Midi coach Rick Forzano. Southall caps off his tremendous running in the series by blasting in for the TD, and it's 9-0 Georgia Tech. Tech goes back to the air for the next score as Machan passes to Robinson for the TD. And a new record for the brilliant Atlantan, Jimmy Robinson. Machan again to Robinson, dragging defenders with him into the end zone. A great example of Robbie's determination. The Tech defense was brilliant in this game, stopping Navy at the goal line and one of the top team efforts of the year. Team leader, senior and co-captain Brad Bourne of Sandy Springs. Bruce Elliott, freshman Rick Gibney, Putnell, Carden, and Everhart sink the Navy at the one, proving the character of the Yellow Jacket defense. Tech beats the Middies 30-7.
It was after this game that the Liberty Bowl called. Georgia Tech was offered the chance to play, and they accepted unanimously. After the game, Coach Fulcher said, "We have won and we have lost together. We have come a long way. But now Georgia's next. That's the big one. You can throw out the record books on that one." As a matter of fact, the Georgia game was to be one of the most unusual in the history of the long series. Tech was faced with the incredible obstacle just one day before the game of playing without its star quarterback, Eddie Machane. For backup quarterback Jim Stevens, it was to be a brutal baptism of fire. Unable to practice with Stevens at the helm, and with so little time to change game plans to accommodate Stevens' style of play, the first half was all Bulldog.
Georgia did everything well in the first half. Here they show their fine ground game. Looking long, and it's the bomb, and the Bulldogs score through the air. They also dominated their play with fine field position. Here Ray is passing. Wishman tips the ball. Randy Rhino intercepts. This will be a fine run back, and it sets up the Tech score as Rhino runs it back inside the Bulldog 20. Greg Horn gets the call. Pitch out from Stevens. Getting closer to pay dirt. Workhorse on this series, and Horn takes it all the way in. Just does hit the red flag, and it's a touchdown for the Yellow Jackets. In the second half, Tech battled Georgia even, but Jim Stevens emerged as a dangerous passing threat, throwing for almost 200 yards against the Bulldogs, 20 here to Robinson. Stevens again, looking to the near side. Finds sophomore Ellerby for 14 more. Ellerby, a sophomore from East Point, Georgia. Stevens to Robinson. And it's good for 15 more yards. Robinson really whacked, but he hangs on to the ball. Georgia won the game 27-7.
Back in the solitude of his private office in Atlanta, Bill Fulcher thought about that game in Athens. He thought how, after losing the first half, his Yellow Jackets fought back to hold Georgia to a tie in the second half. He again thought of the character his team displayed, and he thought about how a young, until that game, untried quarterback named Stevens came through. He thought about that game in Athens, and he gained strength from the knowledge that his engineers had fought well against huge odds. And then he knew Tech would do well in the Liberty Bowl. He told everybody, "We'll be